retired director of the Benton Public Library, and I'm very appreciative of Carol Dolan, the new director's gracious saying, sure, we'd be happy to sponsor candidate forums, but would you be the moderator? So I said, yes, I certainly could do that.
I will observe this time, and next time I'll be doing it.
Next time I'll get to be in the audience. It's also a nice situation. Sometimes the school board has contested elections, but I cannot remember the last time, it might have been a dozen years ago, that the library board had a contested election. So that makes it kind of interesting. And of course, I still have I still have a vested interest, so I'll be interested to hear what you all have to say. Our format this evening is that each candidate will have an opportunity to make an opening presentation to pitch him or herself to the audience, and then we will be happy to take questions from the audience. We'd like to do that anonymously. Carol Romanowski has index cards and pencils, and if each of you got a couple of index cards and pencils, I mean, you don't have to use the pencil. That's okay. We're not like the ballot or like standardized testing. But I do want them on the index card so that we can have things as anonymous as they can be. Carol, could you bring cards? Does everybody?
No, I mean, if I was to ask this rather than write on the card, is that possible?
We prefer to have them on index cards if we can do that. So if writing, maybe you guys could work together and get that. That would be very helpful, so that we can have everybody on the same playing field. Is our timekeeper ready? Thank you, Michelle Campbell, for. I should introduce Michelle Campbell, one of our faithful library volunteers, and we're appreciative of her being here tonight. And Carol Romanowski is the interlibrary loan coordinator for the library, and she is our pen and pencil lady. You want a book?
I'll go over here with us.
Sure. You want a book to write on? Okay. So we're just doing it in numerical order. Is that right?
Well, there's just 5, so
Amy's here.
Yes, Linda, yes.
Amy's just coming in, so she wants to come and get her seat. So, see, it's 6 on the nose, so. It's quiet. Start with Linda Powell, who has number 1. So you might give us your opening presentation.
Hi, everybody. My name is Linda Powell, and I am running for Design Benton High School Board. I am the mother of 2 boys that are currently at the high school. I have a freshman and a sophomore. And I'm very interested in serving on the Board of Education because educating our youth is very important to me. I have 2 boys currently at the high school. I have one who is on an IEP, and I have another one who is in honors classes. So I think I have a pretty good spectrum of student type that is currently in the high school. My husband and I moved to the community with our kids about 8 years ago. So I am not somebody who has grown up in the community, who's ingrained in the community, insofar as someone who has gone to the high school and knows a lot of people in the community. But I felt it was very important for me to run on behalf of my boys and all of the students at Zion Benton High School. I also believe that I would be a very good candidate because I want to bring the public more into the school. I would like to invite community members to board meetings if I were to be elected because I feel it's very important that people kind of stay on topic and know what's going on within our school board. And I think if I could do that, that our community would get better because of that, because we have more people involved in our community, we'd have more people involved in education, and as a result, we would have a better community overall. And so I would take this opportunity to ask for your vote to elect me to Board of Education for Zion Benton High School.
Thank you, Linda. Who has the next number to 1?
I have 3.
Okay, Dale, you're
okay. Okay, my name is Dale Ritter. I'm running for the library board in the 2-year seat. Been in the community since 1985. I previously served on the library board from 1987 and 1993. And then having a wife who's a tax preparer and 2 small children became, Dad needs to stay at home at night and watch the kids. So, kids are finally out of the house, dealing with this empty nest syndrome. So I figured I'd just get back on the library board, see how things are doing. I know the property tax base has taken a really big hit. And try and figure out how to maintain library services in a time of static or shrinking budgets and tax bases. Also, I do a lot of my own research, which has me over at the library a fair amount as well. As Carol and the rest of the librarians here will attest to. And I enjoy libraries, work with them a lot. And as such, figured I'd get back and put my experience to use here.
Next number 2. What number were you?
That was 3.
3. Okay, so next up. Okay, Amy.
Well, my name is Amy Onan, and I'm currently running for the Zion Benton board position, the 6-year term. And I am fairly new to this community. I went through the Zion Benton Leadership Academy and was strongly inspired to become more involved in my community. My husband and I have purchased a home here about 6 years ago, and we've just been living in the area for 3 years. We're originally from Waukegan, but we plan to be here for the rest of our time. And being new to the area and joining the CVLA was an introduction to just different areas where I can become involved. The library, from what I've seen and volunteered, we've seen some wonderful programs. They have a current ELL grant that is phenomenal for English learners, and I've been able to participate in that as well as attend a few board meetings. So, again, my name is Amy Onan, and I'm just strongly interested in, targeting where my passions are, community, and I should say this in closing. I work for Workforce Development Lake County, and I am a career specialist for juveniles. So with that, it kind of connects me to a lot of the programs that our library does offer to their teens and the high that is. But it really does spark an interest in youth and community, so I hope to be a participant with the board.
Thank you. Okay, the next number,
I have 6.
Okay. Al, your turn.
I'm Al Rogers, and I'm running for the Benton Township High School Board of Education. Unlike those others who have spoken, I've been here my whole life. I've served 8 years on the Zion Elementary District several years ago. I spent 28 years as an administrator with Waukegan Public Schools. Why I chose to run for this office is, again, I put 3 students through the Zion Benton Township High School. All of them now are college graduates going on, being very successful and productive in their career opportunities. I shouldn't say I should probably say my wife. She probably did more of the hard work. But together we put our children through Zion and remained in the community. And I am completely impressed with the things that are happening at Zion Benton High School. And I haven't always had to say that. But over the past year, under the leadership of Dr. Clark and those before her, I think Zion Benton Township High School is really making strides, and I would put our quality of education up against anyone. But more importantly, I think what makes Zion special and Zion High School special is our diversity. And I should probably say our pro-versity. Because diversity means divide. Pro means to bring together, and I think they're doing a great job at Zion High School.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming. My name is Jacqueline Holmes. I am a Zion native. In 2013, I moved back to Zion, having been gone for over 20 years. back to probate my mom's estate. I am currently in the process of buying the home, so I will be the taxpayer once again. I am a paralegal that graduated with a bachelor's degree in business administration, having put myself through school. And I would say I would be unnecessarily the best candidate for a trustee position on the library, but if given the opportunity, I would love to serve. I am a former aide of State Senator Adeline Jean Harris, who always returns to strive for the best and serve.
Hello, everybody. My name is Philip Yeager. I'm not a lifelong resident of Zion, but it seems like I've been here all my life because we moved here when I was quite young. I went through all the schools here in Zion, East School, Central, CBTHS. Then I went to Carthage College, majored in English and theater and speech. So hopefully that will help me. Then I went to Northwestern for graduate work in theater. I worked as a substitute teacher in the schools, and then later I got a job working at the old Shiloh Park Library location. I had a reference there. I was approached by a reference librarian who said, "Would you like to work here?" And I thought, for about 30 seconds, yes, I'd love to work here at this library. And it was a wonderful experience. And later I had to leave because of circumstances, and I went back to substitute teaching for a while, and then I also decided that I wanted to do more with libraries, so I went to graduate school at UW-Milwaukee for 2 years. I only needed to go 1 year. I love the school, and I love being there and studying at libraries. So I went and worked at UW Parkside for a while as a reference librarian, and really had a wonderful experience doing that. I love libraries. That's my main reason for wanting to be part of the library board. I've been in so many different libraries in so many different cities and countries, and always I'm impressed with what you can find, what the average person can learn and acquire by visiting libraries. This place, this is like a second home to me. I'm here almost every day of the week. I'm sure some people get tired of seeing me here all the time, but in that sense, I feel like I'm one of the average people that come here, and I know what those people are looking for, and hopefully I can help be a spokesman for the average person who maybe has concerns or needs that aren't being always fulfilled, but hopefully can be by suggestions and ideas. I'd love to be part of that team that helps see this wonderful place into the 21st century. I thank you for listening.
10 seconds in the bank. If anybody needs more index cards to write questions, we're here for tough question time, folks. So Carol's got them here, and both Carols can distribute those. If you have a question directed to high school or library, please specify that on your card so that we can target. But if it's something that both groups could work with, that would work out very well. So you guys can relax and drink water. Okay. Index cards are the cheapest part of the evening, so
no, that's fine. I just put it there so. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
Carol, utensils? I feel like this is a quiz show or something. Would Jeopardy use it? That would be.
Who's got a secret?
Okay, the order that we have, so Carol, remind me, so we start with this and then that's our order for all of them?
That's the order for the questions.
Okay. Question number one for everybody. With property taxes in Zion, the highest in Lake County, how do you plan on addressing the high tax rate that the school district has? So I guess school district things. Linda, you would be first.
Just a moment. So I do know that Zion has one of the highest tax rates in probably all of Lake County. I've done a lot of research on that. In fact, I live in Beach Park, and there's a lot of people who move from Zion to our community in Beach Park because of the tax rates, and they still want to stay within the community. And so I have a very big background in pharmaceuticals. I have a BA from DePaul. I have an MBA from Collar Graduate School. I'm currently working on my law degree, and so when I look at taxes and I look at the percentage that's paid to the school, it's not that high, relatively speaking, to the overall tax base that is being paid. But because I have worked in the pharmaceutical industry, I am very familiar with lean processes and how to streamline processes, and I think that could possibly help. And I'm a very big advocate in not overspending and looking at ways to cut spending. And so with that being said, I think I could maybe find some ways in which we can reduce some of our spending and maybe some ways where we could cut down and do some leaner processes.
Thank you.
Well, looks like we're doing a pretty good job at the high school in the fact that, again, we're in our second year of giving money back to the taxpayers. So whatever we're doing at the high school, as far as the tax base is concerned, appears to be working. So I would continue to support the efforts of those that are obviously doing a very good job.
Okay, another financial question for the high school candidates. What will you bring during your term to get costs, payrolls, and pensions under control? Al, you will go first.
Cost, payroll, and pension. I'm not afraid to say I don't know. That would be something I'd have to talk with those in charge, because I'd hate to see that they're starting to cut services if that in fact is a concern. And obviously, student achievement is my number one concern, and I don't think we can accomplish that by cutting services. So again, I'd have to refer to the superintendent and financial staff to adequately inform me before I make an informed answer.
I have to agree with Al insofar as we're not really all that familiar with the inner workings of the schools. and what kind of budgets they're provided with other than what's in the public information and how they work together to come up with those budgets. But I think that we, again, can look at doing some different things at the high school. And I'm not an advocate at all for cutting services either. I think services are very much needed. I think we have to find ways to get services that are necessary for our kids. I think that maybe some of the services can be somewhat commingled a little bit, and depending on what kind of services you're really looking at. I don't know if I would say to reduce salaries, because I think we want to remain competitive in so far as what types of teachers we get in educating our children, and we have to be competitive with the area around us. So I would have to defer that also to the superintendent and wait till I get there to see what's there.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the library side. What plans, library board members or candidates, what plans, if any, would you have to target African American youth, career success, their African American heritage? And do you have innovative ideas to engage children who just hang out at the library? And our order would be Dale first.
Well, I work with a thing called Center for Gifted in Benton, Illinois, where we basically work with gifted students, trying to come up with creative ways of dealing with those. One of the things we use is historical board games to teach history and a lot of other things, including geography and what have you. It would be interesting starting up a program like that, where you have an organized gaming group coming in and playing games like Axis and Allies, History of the World, or what have you, where they're learning geography and trying to engage with other kids. The range which I work with is middle school through high school. So that would be one possibility.
Would you deal with any questions?
What plans, if any, do you have to target African American youth, career success, African American heritage, and combine that? Do you have innovative ideas to engage the children who just hang out at the library?
Okay. As far as African American youth, I have just recently learned that this area has been a large part of the Underground Railroads. So I would investigate it, I think, and try to reach out to community members who might have some history on that or books and bring that to them so that they have a little bit more pride in their culture and where they're from. As far as youth altogether, I work with students constantly on job readiness, soft skills, communication styles, career assessments. So I think there's many programs that can be built around that to target youth that just hang out here.
Jack?
I don't mind directly speaking to like kids that just hang out for any particular reason. I think in terms of diversity and inclusion, it would be great to see somebody of my character on the board to stress to somebody who is hanging out. I put myself through school. What are you doing? You're at the library for a reason. You shouldn't be hanging out. What's your plan? That's how my parents taught us. Like I said, I put myself through school. So I would definitely encourage kids to be productive up here. This is not a gym. So that's how I would address it. Yeah.
Well, of course, I would defer to people like Jackie who have better insight into helping African American youth. I already see the library doing a lot to help engage all young people, but minorities or people of color. We had Black History Month, I believe, just last month, and there were, there's programs there. Nothing that I specifically had planned for them. I'm not that versed in it, but I'm sure there's more that can be done to include them. I do see a lot of young people coming here after school, and there are areas where they go and they have, I think a lot of interesting opportunities to learn more while they're here at the library.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. Back to a school question. These are two that are very similar. People are the questioners are both concerned and would like to know how you feel about and plans for a performing arts center or addressing the lack thereof. There is not a performing arts center at the high school, and they would like to know how you feel about having opportunities for thespians, band, and chorus to perform. With many schools, the fine arts program is second to athletics, and the observation is that high school does not have a performing arts center. So what might you do for that? And start with Linda.
So I know that the school does have a drama section, and I know quite a few students that are involved in the drama section, and they really, really enjoy it. I am all for performing arts. I think what we need to think about as a community is where are we going to get the funds for that. Unfortunately, like many other school districts, those programs are often set aside or thought of at a later date, or sometimes even cut because funding isn't available. And I think by bringing the community and getting them more involved in our education and letting them know these things, maybe we could get people to help fundraise. I've been in a community for 8 years. I've been involved in a whole lot of nonprofit organizations. It's very hard to get parents involved. It's very hard to get parents to do things. It's very hard to get them to volunteer hours, volunteer time, volunteer dollars. And so I have some good ideas as to how we can do that, and I would be a real big advocate for trying to get those programs back in our school because they're very important.
I have one of those red part of mine, and the band director and director 9 years in Missouri. I thought that science and conservatory music within 17 years freshman. And it makes me really sad to see the facility these kids have to perform at the theater program, give the older the campus that's over there. It's a
Thank you very much.
It wasn't designed for concert. It has a stage with the acoustics or a chorus in there. I can't hear. I can't hear most of what I'm saying over there.
Thank you very much for your comment. We're still working our way through the questions, and it's time for Mr. Rogers to comment about having adequate performing arts space.
Anything that helps student achievement, I'm all for, as long as we can afford it. Performing arts, like any other program, is going to serve the needs of our students. I'm the greatest cheerleader.
Thank you, Al. I would like to step off my chair and say a beautiful example of arts in our high school is happening right out in the lobby right here with this absolutely outstanding exhibit. I just heard art walk. We're doing an art walk, and I really didn't know what was happening. I don't think any of us really knew what was happening, but by all means, I hope you took an opportunity to see what the high school students are doing from an interdisciplinary point of view. I know it's not band, and I know it's not, well, there were musicians performing as well, but I just think that's so cool to have that on Friday at the library.
And my son has a display out there, Joseph Hall, if anybody wants to go.
Public service announcement.
Okay, end of break. Okay. Let's see. School board candidates, what is your plan to address the large number of students who are failing? Al, your turn first.
I have a different perspective as to my role as a board member. My role as a board member is to support the administration. So I have to, again, they are the professionals. They are the ones that we hired to do the job that we hired them to do. I don't have any inkling on how to raise test scores or That's what we have teachers, administrators, superintendents, and principals for. Our job as a board is to support the recommendation of the administration.
Thank you, Linda.
Well, I feel it's my job as a board member to support the administration. I feel that test scores and graduation rates are most important to our community. I don't know if everybody in the room is familiar with Common Core and what's about to come down through the state of Illinois. The state of Illinois has changed the way they've done testing, and I can honestly say that I am not a proponent of any of the state testing. I have a son who's dyslexic. For 3 years, before school district told me my son was right where he needed to be, and he absolutely was not. He was 2+ years behind in reading, and those test scores showed him that he was equivalent to his grade level. And so with that being said, our scores are going to go down again because Common Core is coming out. The standards are higher. Our textbooks are not adequate for Common Core right now, and I just want to prepare the public for that is about to happen. And I think the way that we can get them to raise scores is to do a better job in our academics and to have students focus more on academics.
Thank you very much, Linda. A question for all the group, and I'll start with the library folks. How would you suggest we, whichever we it is, or you, collaborate with different taxing bodies to save money? So knowing that the library is an independent district, the high school is as you probably all know, Illinois has more units of local government, right, Representative Jessel, than any other, per capita than any other state. And so the question is, how might there be more collaboration to help to save money and for efficiency of services? And on the library side, we will start with Phil this time.
Oh dear. Well, I really don't have much background in how we would collaborate with other taxing boards. I think there's opportunities certainly to meet with those boards and discuss how we could correlate or strategize to do that, but the only board that I've ever served on was for an arts organization, so that wouldn't be quite the same. So I would defer to my colleagues that have more knowledge in this area.
Jackie.
I think in the interest of collaboration, I don't know if it's already being done, but it could possibly be something to the effect of having the different governing boards meet in at a place, maybe quarterly, to see how things can be achieved or addressed, and maybe put some research into how other governing bodies are doing it. Somebody's doing it well, right? That's how I think it works.
This is, I think, an interesting question. I know the library collaborates currently on different areas of the community, and when it comes to the budgetary, I really don't feel like I have the knowledge to speak on it, but I think that just supporting the librarians and what they're bringing already to the library can do stuff.
Yeah.
Well, my Army training was U.S. Army Quartermaster Corps, which means supply. How to go about buying things as most efficiently as possible. Generally, the larger block you buy in, the cheaper your price. Library buys toilet paper. Zion School District buys toilet paper. Park District buys toilet paper. High school buys toilet paper. And I bet everybody's buying separately. Something as simple as that done as a joint purchasing agreement between the interlibrary guide to print and bottle use would be one point to start with. Generally, the second thing I kept thinking of last winter and this winter is snow plowing. If everybody's contracting separately for snow plowing, hey, Zion and Benton Township have snow plows. And I know they have been getting work done. Something like that is also a possibility of the schools and library contracting from the townships for those services rather than private parties.
Thank you. All right, Linda, your turn.
Thank you. So I'm going to kind of segue back to what was just said. I work for Illinois Toolworks, ITW. They're one of the biggest companies in Illinois that very few people know about. We're a very big conglomeration. We're a global company. We have business units all over the world. Recently within my organization, they streamlined all the processes and all the business units and kind of commingled a bunch of them, got a bunch of rid of like real estate and different things, and we're trying to come up with better margins. And segueing what was just said, not only can you do this with your buying power, but you can also do this with your administrative power. You could commingle jobs. You could work with different governing bodies to put your meetings on together and do different things. And you could work with them to have administration. Maybe one part of everybody rolls into the same administration. And I think if you do these things, it would really help to bring more dollars to everybody's budget.
I agree. No.
See, that's collaborating.
That's collaborating.
Why reinvent the wheel?
There's been some talk in Illinois, about the collapsing and merging of school districts. Working for Waukegan for 28 years, I worked for a unit school district, so I know it has an advantage as much as I know it has a disadvantage. But I know there is some talk of collapsing school districts. What it would end up in this area, I'd assume, would be the Harbor, Beach Park, Zion, District 6 merging with 126. May not be a bad idea. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but if we're talking, financial resources and duplication of salaries, that's one way we can really look to cut costs and save tons of money.
What we all want to do is, like on St. Patrick's Day, find that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and we can all take part of it. Okay. Question for school folks. Do you have relatives who work in the school district? And if so, do you see that as a conflict? Al? First.
I have a son who's the assistant athletic director at Zion High School. Is he qualified to be there? Yes. Do I defer to his supervisors to supervise him? I do. And that's it.
I have no relatives that work at the high school. I'm not an advocate for that. I see actually, in the 8 years that I've been here, we've been involved with the high school probably for about 3-4 years. And honestly, I see too much nepotism at the high school. And I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. I think when things like that happen, you maybe are not getting the best qualified candidates that you can for certain positions. And I'd like to see that stop. And whether I'm elected or not, I will continue to watch that.
For another school board question, boy, librarians existing ask and answer questions, and library board members would come under that. So they're mostly school board questions. So we'll let no more editorializing. Okay, school board, would you be willing to introduce restorative justice, where students are able to do peer mediation or peace groups as an alternative to suspensions and expulsions? Linda first. You want me to reread it?
No, we don't have to. Absolutely. I think that's a wonderful idea. I think getting our students engaged early and getting them engaged in consequences and punishment is very important. I think that could absolutely be done, but I would very much caution that there has to be some adult oversight over that. You can't just let the students make a determination without some adults kind of giving them some key information, facts, and things that they would need to know to make a good informed decision. Yeah.
Well, clearly, if suspensions and expulsions were the solution, we would have to suspend or expel another kid ever. Clearly, that's not the solution. There has to be peer mediation. Even though I support suspensions and expulsions for, egregious behavior, but the focus should be on teaching once a teenager has made a bad decision, or once a student has made a bad decision. The focus has to be on redirecting that behavior.
One other school-specific question is specifically for Linda. How do you plan on getting parents or community members to join the meetings?
I go to a lot of the high school events. I was here tonight at the art event before I came in. I've been to many events where I see other board members as well. What I don't see happening at those events is, sure, the board member is introduced, the board member stands up and waves. Why not give the board member 2 or 3 minutes on the podium? Why don't the board members invite the public to come to the meetings to see what's going on? And I think the more that you get the public involved, I've gone to the meetings, nobody goes. And that tells me that people really aren't interested in what's happening at our high school. I've been to a lot of them, and it saddens me to see that nobody goes and that nobody's interested in what happens there. And so I think if the board members are given more opportunities to speak with people, even if it's a minute, 2 minutes, hey, come to our meeting is coming up. I think that's a good way to get people to come, get people involved.
A tough question for everybody, and we'll start with the library folks first, and that is, will you commit to freezing or lowering the tax levy? The economy is much on everybody's mind. And we'll start with Dale.
Well, the biggest chunk of my tax bill is school districts. The problem with freezing or reducing the tax levy is, what are your existing commitments? You have pensions you have to meet. Right now there's a huge discussion in the court case in Illinois. Can pensions be changed or not? That you're going to have to watch. You have existing contracts that you have to honor for most part. Depending on what those are, you may be able to get away with freezing or reducing your levy. You may not be able to. The problem right now is your levy is shrinking. How to deal with that is the biggest issue.
Amy.
Well, like you said earlier, I'm not afraid to say I don't know. This is an area that I don't feel very versed in, and to speak to it is just, I think, a little bit out of my boundaries.
Jackie?
I think it would be too simplistic to say yes, but I agree with Dale what he said about that consider your prior commitments in years past with what has been done. Just outright say yes. It's too simplistic of an answer. No.
I have to agree with Jackie and Dale about this. I think it would be unwise to commit at this point to a freeze. As long as I can remember, the Zion Library has struggled to get funds, and there have been referendums to get more. And so far that hasn't worked, but I think if we let people know what we have available and what is available to citizens in the library, then maybe the idea of freezing or even lowering the tax levy would change.
In high school, whose turn first? Al, you can go first.
We're betting 100%. Unfortunately, this is the hand that we're dealt, especially being elected to this position. Levies have been set. Ideally, I would love to sit here and say, yes, I support that. That's not going to happen. We have some outstanding commitments based on what's already out there, but I will commit to being as fiscally responsible board member as I can.
And I agree with Al. I'm not prepared to say that that's not going to happen. And most likely it won't be frozen and won't go down, unfortunately. I will be very fiscally responsible, and I will do all that I can to ensure that others on the board and at the store are fiscally responsible as well, as much as I can within my power.
Okay, a question for everyone, and that is kind of the SWOT question: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And for all of you to think for a minute about what are the best SWOT opportunities for either the library or for the high school that you would like to address. You might think of strengths more than weaknesses or opportunities, but give you a minute to cogitate on that while I sort out my cards. Yes. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What do you think the SWOT should be for the library or for the high school, depending on which ballot you are on? This is when we do the Jeopardy music. Say we're all. Okay, Al, start with you. You're in.
Again, I think the greatest.
Hold on. Oh. Reset the clock. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the greatest things about design in school communities, again, is when you get a chance to go out there, you see our kids interacting along all different lines. It's the melting pot of this community, and it has been for many years. So that's the strength. When you look at the challenges, obviously finance is always going to be a challenge. But again, I am a product of design schools. I put my kids to design schools, and I like to think the reason so many parents aren't at the school board is they're actually happy with what's going on, or at least comfortable enough to trust those that we pay to do the job.
Linda. So I'm a little bit different in that respect. I trust, but I verify. I think it's very important that we verify whenever we can. One of the greatest strengths of our school district is all of you being here today. Thank you so much for coming. You're interested in our school, you're interested in our politics, and I can't thank you enough for being here. I think one of our biggest threats, which you spoke to before, was common core. I think that's really, in the back of my mind, one of the biggest things that is facing our school right now. I think we shouldn't look at it as a threat, we should look at it as opportunity. And let's look at some of the books that we have, and let's make sure that we have the right textbooks and that we have the right programs, that our kids will be ready for these tests that are coming down. If I had my choice, I would get rid of state testing altogether, and I would spend more time on focusing on educating our kids. And that's just how I feel about the state testing, but I think we should take the opportunity to embrace it and do all that we can to do the best that we can.
Dale.
Strengths in a library. People who work there. That's simple. That is the single greatest strength of the library is the people who work there. I've been talking to some of them for 30 years, so yes. Weaknesses. Constant battle for funding. Tax rate increases toward the library hasn't changed since I moved to the district 30 years ago. That crimps what you can do. Opportunities. Probably the biggest thing would be see what you can do in terms of after-school programs to deal with kids who are hanging out. Threats, continual erosion of the property tax base. With the property tax bubble bursting, that clobbered everybody. Hit the library pretty hard.
Thank you, Dale. Amy.
Well, I will begin with the strengths. I agree with Dale that the librarians here, the employees, are the strength of this library, and to just continue to support them in the community collaborations they've already brought to the library. I think expanding and connecting with more of the community will build the strength of the library. And it's been talked about a few times this evening, but I don't see it as a weakness. The opportunity to serve the youth of Zion seems to be an issue. So I have over 15 years of working with youth, and I think there's a lot of programming that can be brought in and turned into opportunities and give the youth more direction. Just the areas that they're headed that could be a strong part of the library's base.
Jen?
The library, since I grew up, has come a long way. Moving back here in 2013, coming into the library, I'm completely impressed at how it has progressed over the years. I think one of the weaknesses a little bit more, or consider maybe an opportunity where it can do better in terms of the melting pot of our community. Not only say like additional Black history programs, but we do have a melting pot. We have people of all different walks of life. What about sharing some appreciation for other cultures, to learn and appreciate other cultures, because everybody wants to feel engaged and respected, and I think that would really help and be beneficial.
Well, I agree with my three opponents here. There are major strengths in the people that are employed here, the librarians, the staff. They do a lot to encourage young people, older people to use the facility and realize what great, vast resources of knowledge and help there is to be found in libraries. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't take advantage of what we have to offer here. And as Jackie was saying, it is a melting pot here where everyone can come together, I think, and share their abilities. We have classes, all sorts of different classes. We could do more with that. Those are opportunities. And there's always things that could be better, but I think it's moving in the right direction.
I'd like to welcome Tom Handyside, who's not able to get here early. I think what we'll do to keep ourselves on track here, Tom, you can give your introductory speech about yourself. This was the 2-minute intro, and then we have just two sets of questions left. So if you would like to introduce yourself to the group.
How's it going, guys? I'm Tom Handyside, running for re-election for the high school board. I graduated from Zion in 2007. Did not want to get involved in politics until my senior year of high school. When I worked on Chuck Fitzgerald's Senate campaign. The high school to me is very important. One of the things I think that is a great asset that we have at the high school is the diversity. When I went away to college, I was involved in fraternity. I was the vice president of our college's NAACP chapter. And a lot of my friends growing up in suburbs didn't experience that type of diversity. So I felt it gave me a leg up. The reason why I ran 4 years ago is because I'm proud of my high school. I'm proud of where I came from. And I wanted to give back. So I had a lot of fun on the board. We've gone through a lot of things. In the first year, we went through a strike that was tough. But we've got a lot of good stuff done. that's why I went for the election to keep doing it. I don't take two things.
Thank you very much. This is a question for all candidates. Many people would like to see the three towns of the Zion-Benton area working together more. So how, and one of the things we're always proud to say is that the high school and the library are the only governing bodies that serve everyone in Zion-Benton Township. So we can all pat ourselves on the back for our inclusivity from a government point of view. But how do you feel about the approach to get the three municipalities and the two townships, as well as the other units of local government, to work together more? And what do you think that you as a school board member or you as a library board member can do to facilitate that? So, Mr. Hackenside, you were the last one in, so you can be the first one to address this one.
I think it's important. Lately, on the high school board, we've started to do tried to do a lot of cooperative purchasing. We've tried to use local vendors in town if we can to help create a sense of community. But we need to start doing things together because there's some things District 6 is doing and we're doing the same thing. So combining efforts is going to save time, money, and it's going to make us work better together. We've done a lot of joint board meetings. I know a lot of superintendents met with District 6's superintendents to align the curriculums. So it's one fluid motion instead of we get this kid here from this school and this kid here from this school. So no working out. It's not perfect yet.
I think a lot is being done. I personally have not been a part of some of the committees and organizations that are doing a collaboration, but I read about it and pretty much support it. I still think we have to break the territorial lines. People in the harbor love the harbor. People in Beach Park love Beach Park. People in Zion love Zion. So there's still a territorial issue mentally that we have to fight through. But I think progress is being made.
So like Tom was saying, I am aware that the school districts have these, I think they're quarterly meetings or is it biannually? Where all the school districts? Biannually? And I think if we kind of could get our mayors from all of our towns together to kind of do the same thing, because I think there's a lot to be said about combining resources. However, as else know, people are very proud of where they're from, and there's lines that are clearly drawn in the sand, and how you get to people, I think, is you get more people involved, you go out and talk to people, you get the community more involved, you go door to door and you speak with people, and you ask them what their ideas are. Everybody wants to cut their taxes. I'm a homeowner, I pay taxes, I'd love to pay taxes. This is one way we can do that.
Can we go the opposite order to the library? Philip?
Well, I didn't know that the Harbor and Beach Park were not working with Zion for library education and awareness. So if that is the case, the only way to improve it is open forums like this, where you get leaders from the community together and discuss the needs of the library and what we could do to change things, offering the Harbor and Beach Park more enticements to come to this library. I do know people that are less aware in those communities of what they can find here at the Zion-Benton Library.
When I moved back, it was very surprising to still have the feel to try to figure out how do you find out what's going on in Zion? How do you find out what's going on in the harbor or what have you? I think a lot is being done in terms of collaborating the different units of government. could be something in terms of like public forums, like I was saying. People want to be aware. It's still a struggle. I don't know how you break down the walls of being territorial, but it's a struggle.
Amy.
Well, I don't know that the library necessarily has the different divides that affect them, but there's something going on in this community that is pretty amazing, and I've been able to become exposed to it. It's the Coalition for Healthy Communities, and that is bringing leaders from different areas, whether it's Zion, Beach Park, or Harvard, together to empower all cities to work together. And there's several different subcommittees. When I mentioned earlier, I went through the Zion Benton Leadership Academy, and it inspired me as a community member to become involved. That's just one of the many programs that are offered. So I would encourage people to look into that and see if there's an area of interest to work and get involved, and I think that will help bridge the three.
Let's see. One thing I discovered after moving in here is that people in Zion, Winthrop Harbor, and Beach Park all have very long memories. So there are limits as to how much you're going to get any of those three to agree to work together. Probably the biggest binding point the library had with the three communities was for the bookmobile. Taking that off the road killed us. And they didn't have it. We didn't have a choice at the time. So I'd say it's going to be a long, hard struggle.
Thank you very much. The final question, and I did not write this, and I didn't pay anybody to put this question up. However, I love it. Thank you very much, whoever wrote this. Do you have a library card, and do you use it? And so I'll start with Jackie.
Absolutely.
Bill, I know the answer.
I can't stop using it. It's my lifeline to so much that I would never know or never see or never experience. Thank God for it.
I have a library card. When my son was born in 1990, 2 weeks after he came home from the hospital, he had a library card. When my daughter was born in 1993, 2 days after she came home from the hospital, she had her library card. I hope that gives everybody an idea of how much I value the library. And yes, I do use it. I have some of the more creative interlibrary loan requests.
Yes, I have a library card. I use it. I'm thankful that I can have books delivered here from other libraries when this library doesn't have the particular books that I want. And I use the library all the time. Unfortunately, I'm in law school right now, so I'm reading different books instead of the fun books that I like to read. But I will come back to my books in the summer because I'm taking this summer off.
I am a lifelong learner, and I use the internet. I do not have a library card.
We can take care of
I think I still have a library card. I use a lot of the internet. I use my smartphone. I do books.
Well, they're rearranging stuff where we could show you where those are
some
too.
from here.
Okay. Thank you. Now it's time for the summing up. I'm sorry, I almost forgot that part, and I would have been. So the summing up goes in the opposite direction from the introduction. So we would start with who? With Tom. Okay.
How long is that? How long? 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Sum up?
Yes, you can. Yes.
I don't have much to sum up because I was working for 20 minutes. Sorry. I really enjoy being on the high school board. A lot of you will see me because I'm more active. I think it's important. love what I do on the board. We're doing some positive things. We've revamped our curriculum. We're now going next year to one-to-one computing, so a freshman will get Chromebooks. So that type of curriculum. Just appreciate you guys' work to continue doing what we've been doing.
So, Carol, help me out here. So we do just...
I would go up the list.
Okay, I'll just go, then we'll just go up the list. Okay. So next would be Phil.
Why do I think I should be on the board of directors for the design library? Because I feel I understand the many needs of average people who use the library. I feel with my background, I have an insight and a knowledge into libraries your common man might not have. I'd like to be an advocate of the people. I'd like to be an advocate for the people of Zion that may not have a voice here. Someone who sees how much the Zion Library has to offer each and every person in the community and how we can make it available, these resources to all of them, because knowledge in the broadest sense of the word should be for all people and not for a select few. Our world is changing so fast, it's hard to keep up with all the innovations and information that is out there, but we can through libraries. I want to help to make the Zion Benton Public Library better for everyone. Being part of the board, being part of the team, guiding it into the future would be a privilege and an opportunity to give back to a place that I am so happy to be a resident in, my hometown, Zion, Illinois.
Jack.
Well, thank you again, everybody, for coming and for the challenging questions. I welcome the opportunity to serve as a trustee of the library board. If given the opportunity, I plan to work diligently and learn from the ground up, because I have not served previously on any board, library boards or similar boards. But I ask for your vote next month.
Amy?
Well, I would like to thank you two for coming out tonight. And like Jack, this is my first time. I don't have former experience serving on the board. This is quite a learning experience, and I'm grateful for that. I would like to serve on the library board and observe how it is run, continue to support the librarians. I think my knowledge and background with youth can be a large part and contribute to the library and program. I feel that I have some learning to do in regards to budgeting and how that all operates, and hopefully I'll have the opportunity to serve and become more knowledgeable too. Thank you.
I'm going to skip again to work up our list. Al, your turn.
Again, thank everyone for taking the time, because I realize, first of all, it's Friday, and everybody is busy on Friday. So just your commitment to being here is, I thank you. If given the opportunity to serve on the Zion Board of Education, I give you this promise. The decision that I make will always be in the best interest of children. That's it.
Thank you, Al. Dale.
Stand up. First, I forgot to mention it earlier. On the table in the back, there's a fact sheet about me, which gives a little bit more background. Second, since I'm running for a 2-year term unopposed, I think I'm reasonably certain of being on the board. I did that deliberately because I remember the headaches we went through trying to get a 7th member appointed. That's not real easy to do, and it is elections in April. Our budget has to be ready to go on July 1st, so that's not something you want to try and deal with. I thank everybody for coming out. Thank you for the questions. And hopefully I'll do my best working on the board again. Thank you.
So, of all things, of all my accomplishments in my life, I'm a mother first. I have 2 boys who are in high school. So it's really important to me that the high school does well in educating our youth, because education is so important to me. and it's so important to my family. I have 2 kids that are currently at the high school. Again, you can go out and see Joseph's card in the back. But I'm a really good communicator. I'm a great listener. I feel like I would be a great advocate for the students. I've advocated for my own kids in so far as their education and their student life at school, and I've done a remarkable job doing that for my kids. And so I don't have a problem advocating for anybody else's child either. And I really believe that the students come first. So for that reason, I ask that you vote for Linda Powell on April 7th. And really thank you so much for coming, because this is the heart of our community, and it's important to you that we elect the right people, and for that I'm very thankful.
Well, again, thank everybody for coming. I feel like you had like the airline say, you had a choice of where you could be this evening, and you chose to come to the library. So we're glad that you came. We'd like to invite you all to come back on Sunday. I know a number of people in this room are going to be here on Sunday, because we will be having a forum for candidates for Zion Mayor and City Commissioner. And I think they were here tonight maybe to find out who they'd be serving with, but also to find out just how things are going to go. We're delighted to, so we'll look forward to seeing your smiling faces again on Sunday afternoon. That's from 2 to 4. So, Carol, anything more to?
And it will be in the meeting.
It'll be in the meeting, right. So, but we won't be having art out in the lobby either, so it'll be a little calmer. So again, yes, sir.
A last question. Whatever became of the Friends of the Zion Public Library, are they still active?
Carol Dolan can answer that. The Friends are, but it's kind of on hiatus.
Kind of on hiatus right now. We're looking for people who are interested to join. So if you are, please come talk to me afterward.
There was going to be a forum tomorrow for Beach Park and Winthrop Harbor candidates, but only one candidate was able to make it. So one candidate we felt did not make it for an exchange of ideas, so we're not going to be having that forum. So if you could come tomorrow, but we won't be having an event. So give us a little bit of a day off. But again, thank you everyone for coming. And Gibby, thank you so much for filming this.
This will be on ZB Guide. I'll take it to Chris in the morning. He'll have this on the website, folks.
Okay, it'll be at
on zbguide.com.
To watch it again. And again, thank you all very much for coming out this evening. Good job. That was good, yes. Yes.